and welcome. This is a little video just showing what can happen when you actually take care of the CPU, change the thermal paste, blow out all the dust, that sort of thing. Now, as you can see, my temperatures were running really high at the time. That was 78 degrees. I believe that was idle as well. So that in the next clip, what I'm going to show is that I've applied the thermal paste, and you'll already see a massive drop off in the temperature. It's no longer 78 degrees, it's like about 37, 38, roughly that area. And then what we're going to do is what is known as a burn-in test, where we're going to push the CPU to its maximum. It's going to be running 100%, and we do this by using Prime 95. Now what this allows us to do is to take a look at how the cooling's working in a shorter period of time. And we'll see the CPU temperature slowly rise, but what it allows us to see is this is how the cooling is going to fare against that sort of load. Now, under a lot of circumstances, people aren't going to be running a full load, but I mean, people who do rendering, there are different scenarios in which case this does become a possibility. Or even 70, 80, 90%, you can see that the cooling's going to need to be adequate enough to keep the temperatures down. What we don't want to see is just this continuous rise where the cooling just can't get hold of the situation at all. So in this case, we end up at about 50, 51 degrees. You can see that the CPU is working 100%. And what we're looking for is, I'll show in a moment, is the curve needs to reach a point where it then plateaus out and becomes a line. At that point, we know that the CPU is pretty much being taken care of by the cooling solution. Now, like I said, to do this, it was a case of rubbing all the paste off the CPU, rubbing all the paste off the bottom of the heatsink, reapplying it new, but also blowing out all the dust and crud what's got into the heatsink, into the grill, around the bottom of the fan, around the fan blades. Just give it a nice little clean, and you can see how the temperatures, even under load, are significantly lower than they were before this happened. Now, at the end of this clip, we move on to another clip where it will show how the cooling takes over once the CPU stops running at 100%. We'll see how the cooling solution takes over, and mine's just a stock cooler. We'll see how the temperature starts then to drop down. If it's a significant drop straight away, like a trough, then you know that the cooling's taking over pretty quickly to cool that CPU down. At which case we'll see the same at the other end. We'll see a plateau as to where the CPU is going to naturally land in terms of its temperatures. So it's just a brief video to show you, there really is some benefit to doing this, and you'll see you'll see in the next clip we're going to see a significant drop. Now this, in my opinion, prolongs the life of a CPU. Above a certain temperature, I do think that the components are degrading enough that your CPU is not going to last as long as it otherwise would. So it's always best to just keep things cool, keep things nice and clean, a little bit of maintenance, a couple of minutes work. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.